All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip, where every single week I come to you delivering different tips, tactics, and strategies that I've learned on my 20-year-long real estate journey that have allowed me to become one of the top realtors and team leaders on the planet, with now selling well over 7,000 homes, as well as with personally coaching and mentoring over 5,000 real estate professionals, realtors, team leaders, and brokerage owners, and sharing this information with you. So then that way you can crush and dominate your overall real estate goals. All right, so today here on the podcast, I'm going to be doing a deep dive and a breakdown into, hands down, the single most important thing that trumps everything else when it comes to your overall long-lasting success, your ability to create success, your ability to continue to create success and maintain that level of success. This thing that I'm going to talk to you about today trumps everything else. Nothing else matters more than this thing. If there were to be a true magic pill that exists out there, this would be it. And if you don't have this thing dialed in, and this thing that we're here to talk about today is consistency, your ability to consistently execute on the actions that you need to execute on day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out, inside your real estate business to go out there and crush it. And this applies to all aspects of life. Look, if you want to create success in health and fitness or relationship, whatever, this is a real estate channel. We're staying specific to real estate here in this podcast here today. But everything I'm going to be walking you through here, it can be applied to any other aspect of your life. But I'm here to tell you this. If you do not hone in this thing, don't dismiss this. Oh, I've heard about this before, Josh. I've heard about consistency. Look, it's very rarely, if not, I should say, not just very rarely, it's never the plan that is the issue. A lot of people spend so much time chasing the plan. Oh, what's the new next best lead gen strategy? Oh, what's the new next thing? They're always chasing the plan. And it's never I don't want to dismiss the importance of the plan itself. The plan is essential. We got to make sure that we have the right plan. And I'm going to walk you through today how to go out there and identify that for yourself. So we got to have the plan, but you can have the plan. It's easy to go out there and get the plan. The biggest issue is people's inability to consistently show up and execute on that plan. Again, day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out, for a long enough period of time to go out there and achieve the results that they want to see. And I saw this also before I got into real estate. I was in the health and fitness industry. I was a personal trainer for a period of my life. And the same thing there, that I see the same problem there with personal training clients, people that were trying to maybe lose weight and get in the best shape of their life, or just achieve some element of a health and fitness goal. Same problems there that I see with real estate agents, team leaders, and broker owners is, okay, like I could write the diet, I could write the plan. Hey, here's the exact plan. Here's everything that you need to execute on. Now I just need you to execute on this every single day, or maybe 90% of the time. Yeah, right. But it's okay. I need you to execute on this consistently. And if you do so, okay, over X period of time, you will 100% hit your goals, hit your results. Then from there, here's the plan that you're going to have to consistently execute on to maintain those results. People's inability to adhere to the plan is always the biggest core issue. So if you are struggling with consistency, and one way to know if you're struggling with consistency is if you ever have any element of a roller coaster in your business, where you're having up months, down months, and which is, the vast majority of this industry experience their whole career is, they might have one or two good months followed by, one or two or three down months. And it's just ups and downs, these ebbs and flows, throughout their career. Well, if you want consistent income results, you want a consistent outcome. Consistent outcomes are only delivered by consistent actions. Yeah, right. So we got to solve this problem. And I can tell you this, if you have not solved this problem, if you are struggling with this problem, anything and everything else that you're allocating and focusing your time and energy on is 100% pointless. Every YouTube video that you're watching, every podcast that you're watching, every book that you're reading, every training course that you go on, until you solve this problem, all of that is pointless. All of that is useless for you right now, of where you're at inside your overall business and career, until you solve this problem. Because that knowledge, like, you can keep gaining the knowledge, but if you can't not consistently execute on that knowledge, you're just colossally wasting your fucking time, right? So now here's the good news. I'm going to walk you through my 7-step framework on how to solve this problem. And look, I'm not somebody that was, just innately consistent myself. If I was innately consistent, I wouldn't have allowed myself to lose my health and fitness and to get, up to almost 300 pounds, become morbidly obese, where then I had to go out there and, solve that problem and lose over 100 pounds and keep that off now for well over a decade. And, consistently, take those actions to not just get, but stay in great shape. I've had to learn these things for my real estate business. I had to learn these things. These 7 steps I'm going to walk you through also allowed me to go through my battles with alcoholism and now be sober for a lot of freaking years, where I no longer even think about that substance, no longer have any desire or craving for that substance. So these 7-step framework that I'm going to walk you through, this 7-step framework, I should say, I'm going to walk you through again, can help you in any aspect of your life that you're trying to create success with. Because again, like if we look at, again, and I'll just use, health and fitness analogies, because it's all something that we can relate to, because we all as human beings have to eat food. And you got 76% of Americans overweight, 40% that are obese, so the majority, a lot of people struggle with this stuff. Now, the majority of people that go on diets end up initially losing weight, but it's only like 1 out of 10 that over a 3+ year period of time end up consistently keeping that off. Or people go out there and set New Year's resolutions, right? I mean, I don't know the exact percentages, but it's something like 85% abandonment within the first 2 weeks. Consistency is people's biggest overall issue. So how do we then get ourselves, because this is a process, this can be learned, this can be taught, this can be, worked upon, this can grow, this can expand. You don't need to be wired a certain way. Got to get that bullshit out of your head. Oh man, I'm just not wired this way, Josh. You're just, some people, my wife, even the other day, she's like, well, you're just a freak. Yeah. Right. Because we were talking about, food, nutrition, and how I don't ever take cheat days. And she's like, oh, you're just a freak. I'm like, well, I'm not a freak naturally. And freak in a good term, I guess, right? Hopefully. I'm not a freak naturally. Otherwise, I wouldn't allow myself to get to 300 pounds, morbidly obese at 5'10", right? Like right now, today, I'm 166 pounds. Used to be, well, I wasn't 300 pounds precise. I was 276 pounds at my heaviest, but if I was a freak, if I was wired, if I was born that way, that shit wouldn't happen. I wouldn't allow myself to cave into alcohol as a substance, where I wasn't able to get till noon every single day without starting drinking and pounding, 14+ drinks every single day for over a decade period of my life. I was a weak human being, right? And I am a weak human being. Right? I have limited amounts of willpower, which I'm going to talk to you about today. You don't need willpower. You don't need to be wired a certain way. You don't need to be born with certain things. All of this is up to you. And if you follow this 7-step framework I'm going to walk you through, can get dialed in. Okay, so enough on that, but I wanted to really stress the importance of this. Hopefully you grasp that. Hopefully you understand that. Okay, so step number 1, I'm going to walk you through 7 steps here. Now, this will only work if you take notes or you could take mental notes or physical notes, but obviously we got to implement and execute on the things that we're learning. So, this might be something that you got to re-listen to, pause, write it down, think about it, come back to it. Might have to listen to this or watch this multiple different times. And go out there and do the work on this. But I promise you, if you follow this, this will change your life. Okay. So step number 1 is getting extreme clarity on what you want, why you want it, why it's important to you. So we've got the goal, right? So we set the goal, and part of this clarity process that I'm walking through of, okay, what is it that we want? Okay, then boom, that becomes the goal. Now, with every goal to be successful execution of that goal, we got to then align that with the purpose. And I'm not saying that you got to have some big monumental purpose or why for your life. What I'm saying is you got to have a purpose and a why for that specific goal. So let's just say, as an example, and you don't have to think long-term on this stuff. You don't have to have, again, some huge life why and the purpose of your life, because I just find that screws up as many people as it helps. Some people are able to identify that, and that's amazing and great, but if you're unable to come up with that, at this point, like, that's fine, right? All I want you to do is think about, okay, what is the number? And let's just use income as an example for our real estate businesses. What is the monthly income number that you need to be hitting consistently on a monthly basis that would greatly improve your current situation? So maybe right now, you're closing, you're not closing a lot. Your business is down like most realtors. Maybe you're making 10 grand a month. You're used to making 30 grand a month, but now you're making 10 grand a month, or whatever that number is. I'm just using numbers as examples here. So insert whatever number that is. But you're like, man, if I could just get back to 30 grand a month, life was a lot easier then. Now with all this crazy inflation, whatever, I don't know if that's my end game goal, but I know if I can start making $30,000 a month, which is not extremely difficult to do in this industry, right? If I can start making $30,000 every single month, that will solve my immediate problems. So now we got the target. Now what I want you to do is identify, okay, why is this target important to you? So it's not just, get clarity on what we want. We got to get clarity on also why that thing is important to us. So then from there, I want you to map out, okay, what does that immediate impact translate into real life scenarios for you? How does this impact you? How does this impact your family? So maybe you're like, well, man, it will, allow us to take, an annual vacation, with the family. It will allow me to get the year's worth of savings in the bank. It'll allow me to go out there and invest for my kids' future college fund. It'll allow me to be able to sleep at night. I've had periods in my life where, and maybe some of you have had this too, where it's like you're going to the grocery store and you got to whip out that debit card or that credit card, and you're just like, please go through. Please go through. Please don't get denied. It's an embarrassment. Plus now you can't eat if it doesn't go through. I've had points in times where I'm embarrassed and scared to even check my damn banking account balance, right? Because you're like, oh, like it's just too much, right? So it's like, okay, well, hey, it'll alleviate stress. It'll allow me to sleep better at night. It'll allow me just to, when I do take time off of work, it'll allow me to enjoy that time a little bit more, where I'm not freaking stressed about bills, whatever it is. I want you to but get clear on why this is important to you. And then I want you to, that's the positive aspect, but now I want you to flip this into a negative aspect. Okay, what does life look like if you don't achieve that goal? You continue operating at the status quo. What are the in-game results with this? And this is really important. We have to deal in realities. Shit just won't magically change. I want you to live within that pain of what the consequences and the real consequences are if you don't achieve that number. Here's why this is important, is you are going to have 1,000 reasons as to why not go out there and hit your goal. You're going to have 1,000 reasons as to why not show up each and every day, each and every week, consistently over time to go out there and hit your goal, right? And usually you only have 1, 2, maybe 3. You're going to have a small number of reasons as to why. You need to be extremely, extremely crystal solid, fucking clear on why this is a must for you. Like I'll tell you, and this translates over to real estate business too. But I'll just use health. I use health and fitness analogies a lot because I'm a health and fitness junkie as well as a real estate junkie. But it's like, okay, like I work out 6 days a week, 2 hours every single day. Now I got to get up at 4 a.m. now. So I can get my food in me, so I can work out at 5 a.m. between 5 and 7 a.m. every single day, 6 days a week. More days than not, when that alarm goes off, I don't want to get up. More days than not, I don't want to get train. Like I love working out, but I don't really like working out at that time. But it's the time that I need to work out, which I'll, kind of get into, setting up your schedule and structuring your environment, later. But because I am so clear on the reasons, and obviously when I'm working out too, it's painful as shit. I train extremely hard. I'm, sore, fatigue, all that stuff sets in, so I'll have a lot of reasons as to why not do that thing. Oh, I didn't get adequate sleep. I got this, this big meeting. I need to be, whatever, all those reasons that inner talk inside of our voice as to why not go do this thing and seek comfort and seek mediocrity. But when I'm crystal clear on the reasons as to why this is a must, it is a non-negotiable must. Go out there and execute on that thing. You can't see it, but I got a quote right here. And it's a big ass quote. And it says, I will not negotiate with myself. Why do I have that right next to my computer where I'm working all day, where I see it all day, right? Like, hey, here's my goals. Here's the plan that I need to go to achieve my goals. I'm not going to negotiate with myself, that self-talk, right? But I'm clear on why my goals are important to me. This is where it all begins. And most people do never invest the time. When I say most people, 95% or plus of the human population never spends time to get clarity on what they truly want in this life. This is why the vast majority of human beings get to the end of this life with this massive shoulda, woulda, coulda regret list. And they just pissed away and wasted this one gift called life that we've been blessed with. It will serve you massively to spend time in solitude and get crystal clear on what you want, why you want it, why it's extremely important to you. Okay, now that then boom becomes the target. That becomes our North Star because now we got the goal and we got the purpose. That now becomes our North Star. Now, so then we know where you're at and where you want to go and why you need to achieve that, right? That's why I'm saying it becomes the compass. It becomes that North Star. Step number 2 now is to identify. I want you to spend the time and identify the right proven plan to get you from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. Now, the key here is the word proven plan. What is the right proven plan? What is the best proven plan to get you from where you're at to where you want to go? Look, there's a lot of plans. There's a lot of amazing plans. Is it the right plan for you? Is it the right plan for your situation? Is it all this stuff is nuanced? But here's the blessing of this is there's been tons and tons and tons of other people that have went from where you're at to where you want to go. You are not alone. You don't have a unique situation, even though you might think that you do, promising you that you don't, unless the only person that I can think of is fucking Elon Musk, who wants to revolutionize interstellar space travel because he believes it's going to save the human species. Okay, he might have to go out there and reinvent the wheel and do some shit that maybe you and I don't have to do. The cool thing is, it's like, okay, I want to go out there and lose 100 pounds and not just lose 100 pounds, but I wanted my body composition to do this. And I wanted these things along with that, these other health benefits. Okay, well, other people have done that. Everything I've ever done in my real estate business. Okay, hey, I'm closing, 300 deals. I want to scale that up to 400 deals. Now I'm, doing about 700 deals. Now I want to scale up to 800 deals. Okay, other people have done that. I don't need to reinvent the wheel on that within my own real estate team. Other people have done it. So identify the best proven plan. And this is why this is so important and why so many people get burnt out, exhausted, in this industry is they spend all this time going down these 20 different paths. Then on the 21st one, they go down these 20 paths to then discover that was the wrong road, the wrong plan, the wrong path to go down. Then on the 21st one, they finally discover, oh, fuck, I found it. I got the right damn path. I got it, man. But then now they're too tired. They've wasted decade of their freaking career, 2 decades of their career. Sometimes on my free coaching calls, I have people that have been jumping this in 3+ decades and they still haven't found the right road, but then they're like, man, I'm just so tired. I'm so exhausted. I'm like, yeah, well, we probably all would be too. One of the things that I've done right, there's a lot that I've done wrong in my career, but one of the things that I've done right, and I didn't mess around with this from day one I got in the industry. I just went and identified I found the right mentors, and had them deliver the path. So all I had to do was allocate my time on execution, which is hard enough. Again, the hardest part is that consistent execution. Now, if we add, trying to have the right path, because here's the thing is we get demoralized, you get kicked in the teeth, and again, it's not just physical, exhaustion, it's mental exhaustion, mental defeat, when we continue to get kicked in the teeth because we're having the wrong plan that we're executing on, so consistency is the most important thing. But if you're consistently executing on the wrong plan, okay, we're going to have some problems there as well. So make sure that you identify the best proven plan to get you from where you're at to where you want to go. Now, if you can't identify the best proven plan to get you from where you're at to where you want to go, hit me up. I'll spend an hour with you on Zoom and get you dialed in on this. So you can go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. We'll jump on Zoom together for an hour. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. I'll spend about 10 minutes, through discovery. Where's your business at? How long have you been in the industry? What have you done historically? What are you currently doing? What is your immediate goals? What are your long-term goals? What's your current situation? What are your biggest obstacles? So after I got that, gain the information that I need on your personal situation, then from there, I will craft exactly what I recommend to get you from right where you're at to where you want to go. And I promise you, you will not leave this free Zoom coaching call with not knowing exactly what you must execute on. Now, you have to execute. Nobody can execute but you. There's no such thing as, I'm going to get an accountability partner to hold me accountable. All that's bullshit. If you do not learn how to become self-consistent, aka self-accountable, none of it's going to matter. But I'll make sure that you have the plan. So then all you got to do is follow these other steps I'm giving you here today, and then boom, you will be a machine. Okay, then step number 3, you need to identify and set up your tracking system so you can track the important things on the plan that you need to go out there and track. Right? We got to track our daily actions that we are executing on. Tracking is one of the quickest ways to elicit new behaviors, but then it also allows you to see how you're doing, create that predictability, and see what areas that you need to improve in within your plan. Prime example, I'm on a conversation the other day with an ISA, so an inside sales agent that works for a team. Her job is to go out there and call expireds and set appointments for the agents on the team with expireds. Luckily she tracked her numbers, and there are 2 KPIs in there that I saw that needed the immediate attention. So I'm like, hey, dude, your number of dials you're doing is epic. That's amazing. Number of conversations that you're having is epic and amazing. Okay, now your conversation to appointment set rate's 50% below where I want to see it. So then boom, we identified, now that's a skill set issue. Let's work on that. Let's have a conversation around that. Then from there, okay, the appointment set to conduction rate was greatly lower. It was like at 34%, should be 75%. So then I'm like, okay, here's the four things that can be one of the four things, or sometimes a combination, maybe sometimes all four of the things. But the cool thing is we were able to operate with precision and know, okay, exactly what to do. Because I'm like, dude, you plug in these two holes, like you'll over triple your business immediately by just plugging in these two holes, within there. So you got to make sure that you have that supporting tracking system in place. Okay, step number 3, then identify any supporting systems that you need to put in place that will allow and help you to consistently execute day in and day out, week in and week out on your plan. And when I say day in and day out, I'm talking about working days. I'm not sitting here saying that, oh shit, you got to go out there and grind 7 days a week and blah, 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 blah. It depends on what your goals are. If you have massive fucking goals, sometimes I'll get individual realtors to me that are new in the business that are like, hey man, I want to make, $1 million in GCI over the next 12 months. So maybe they're going from like 0 to within 12 months, they want to be making, 80 plus G's a month, or whatever that math is that equates to, I think it's 80 G's, equates to 12, to $1 million a year, but whatever that number is, I'm not good at doing math in my head, but okay, in that situation, yeah, you're going to have to work 7 days a week out of the gate. Not saying forever you got to work. Yeah, I don't work 7 days a week and I make way over $1 million a year in my real estate business. I don't work 7 days a week. And last year we did over 5 million in GCI within my real estate team. That's a team, gross numbers. That's not me personally, so over time, yeah, we can, through leverage and through different things, like this shit gets better. But I'm talking about that personal situation. They might have to work 7 days a week. But if you want to make, let's just say between 3, 4, 500 grand, you don't necessarily need to work 7 days a week and grind all day long to make that kind of money. You can do that in a 50-hour, 60-hour work week or less. But then from there, okay, what supporting systems do you need that will allow you to execute consistently on your plan? So what are systems? Systems exist so you can execute on your processes each and every single time in the same way and ensure things don't get missed. So I'm going to raise my desk here a little bit, sort of hurt my back through how I was sitting there. So okay, and then what are processes? Processes are just the step-by-step actions so it's processes is just the step-by-step actions to execute on our proven plan that we've now identified. So we got the proven plan, but then it's like, okay, here's step 1. So when I have that proven plan, what do I need to do daily, weekly, monthly with precision? So maybe it's something like, okay, well, every single week I know I got to go 500 dials, 50 conversations with this lead source. I got to follow this frequency for the follow-up. I got to, I know the scripting. I got the skill set identified, the tonality, the pausing, the pacing. But then from there, here's the numbers I got to hit weekly: 500 dials, 50 conversations. That equates to 1 listing taken. So I'm going to do my dials 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Okay, so then from there, then I know I got to do 100 dials a day, 10 conversations a day. And then boom, now I can start chunking that down into a schedule. Okay, I'm going to do my dials from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. using a power dialer. So I'm getting 50 dials an hour and 5 conversations per hour. Yeah, right. Very easy to go out there and do. But now we can chunk this down. Now we're measuring. Now we're tracking it. Now, what supporting systems, do I need to ensure that those processes, okay, I might need a power dialer, right? I might need a CRM. I got to get the contact data from somewhere else, or, right. But then I can go into my dialer and set up my frequency schedule, go into my CRM, set up my frequency schedule to ensure, because systems just allow us to execute on our processes in the most effective, efficient way, do the same actions each and every single time to ensure nothing gets missed. Okay. So then from there, now we're going to get a little bit more granular, right? So the first 4 things were kind of, hardcore business, now these other things are going to be, a little bit different, right? Okay. So step number 5 is to identify any bad habits that you need to break that are prohibiting you from executing on your daily plan. This is going to be those distractions. This is going to be, so much of success is in elimination. What or whom is prohibiting you from taking the necessary actions that you must take to go out there and get the results that you want to go out there and get. So we're going to identify those. Now, I don't want you to I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself on one of these steps, but this is so damn important. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I don't want you to try to rely on inner strength, also known as willpower. I just want you to not have to rely on willpower, because you don't need willpower or internal strength to be massively self-disciplined. They're 2 separate, absolute separate things, right? So what I want you to do is, okay, how through my environment, how through systems, can I just eliminate this thing So it's just out of sight, out of mind. So as an example, let's just say that you got to get up at X time every single morning so you can get your morning routine in, so you can show up at the office at this time, start doing the XYZ thing. But you may, you're just having a difficult time getting up at that time and whatever. Then we start chunking this down, reverse engineering this. So then it's like, okay, well, what time you going to bed? Well, why'd you go to bed at that time? Well, man, I go to bed at night. Okay, what's your evening? What's your go to bed routine? Well, I go to bed. I start watching, show on Netflix, and every night I tell myself I'm just gonna watch one episode. But then, man, those cliffhangers are so freaking strong, dude. It gets me. Then, next thing I know, I can't do. I got to see what's going on. That next one hits that dopamine hit, right? Because we got to have certainty for dopamine. It feels so good internally. So, and of course, these shows know that, so it just hooks us. Now we're watching that one. Next thing you know, you binge 4 hours when you're only supposed to binge one. Watch one. Dude, for me, same shit for me. So what do? I just fucking cancel my Netflix account. Or, okay, just don't have your Netflix downloaded. If you're like, well, I don't want to cancel Netflix because there's always a reason, or, well, I got kids and my kids, I don't want to do that. Right. I hear all these things from other people. So then from there, okay, cool. Then what else can we do? Okay, let's just remove Netflix from your app on your system in your bedroom. So then like just get rid of the shit. Right. Just eliminate the problem. Right. So all of this can be solved through systems, and or environment. So what are the bad habits that you need to break that are currently blocking you, that aren't supporting you, that are currently blocking you from taking the necessary actions that you need to go out there and do? And then what are the habits that you need to go out there and adopt that will support you at making your goals a reality? Then from there, we're going to create a habit plan, right? So it's important to have a business plan, strategy plan, but then we need to have a habit plan. Okay, well, I need to start operating with more urgency. Okay, well, how can I start operating with more urgency, right? Start with the little shit, right? Because how you do the little shit is eventually how you'll do the big shit. So, okay, this came up several years ago for me personally, but I was like, dude, I need to start operating with a hell lot more urgency, man. The people that are at the level that I want to get to, man, they don't waste time. They operate with so much urgency, and I need to get better with this. So then I'm like, okay, I just learned the power starting with the small things. I'm like, okay, anything in my personal life or anything that's small, anything that comes up. Here's an example. Oh man, I need to take the trash out. And normally it's like, I'll do that later. I'll do that. No, now it's, I need to take the trash out. I find myself saying I'm going to do it later. No, it's now. I got to do it now. Right. So I just forced myself with the little things to start operating, to adopt that habit, that behavior that then translates over to the big things. How you do one thing in your life is eventually will spill over to be how you do everything. Okay, so step number 6 is set up your environment to make it as easy to win and as difficult as possible to go out there and lose. So we kind of already talked about this, like with the Netflix thing, like, okay, like just eliminate, just get rid of it. Right. Okay. Well, man, I work from my home office and it's distracting. Okay. Well, can you eliminate those distractions that are coming from your home office? Now, if you do an audit and you try doing that and you still can't get the work done, there's still too many distractions for whatever the reason may be. Okay. Well, then maybe you need to go work at the office. Maybe get more done at the actual office. Like, so assess your environment. What's blocking me? What's distracting me? Like just little things. Like I found, okay, like during my deep work, I shouldn't even say deep work, like deep work, kind of thinks about like hardcore thinking, but let's just say my most important work, like lead gen, lead follow-up, especially lead follow-up times, whatever it may be. As I'm doing those things, okay, how do I need to rig my environment where I have no distractions, all the way down to your computer itself and your phone itself? Like I've turned off every single notification so I don't get notifications. So then, I have on my calendar, I have different times where I go check my email, I go check my Facebook messages, I go check, whatever, but I'm not getting those constant interruptions, those constant distractions. Okay, when I'm doing work, inside my office, dude, I take my cell phone, put it on do not disturb mode. I put it in a drawer, shut it away, out of sight, out of mind. Then I'm not having, those same levels of distractions. So setting up your environment where it's easy as possible to win, difficult as possible to lose. Easy example of this is, let's just say, okay, when I quit drinking, when I made that decision that I was going to quit this substance, that again, I couldn't get past noon without starting my first drink. Like I had a massive, massive issue. Now I was a very functional alcoholic, so I could still get work done and get things done. But it was still a massive, massive problem, health problem, marital problems it was creating, business, my business was stagnant because of it. When you're drunk 3/4 of the day, it's not going to serve you at the highest level, right? So I'm okay. I'm going to have to face this demon, and this is going to be a deep one. This is going to be a hard one, but I knew the importance of what I'm talking about here with these different steps. So of course I got clarity on why I wanted it, why it was important to me, set up all the things that we've already went through. But then when it came to environment, okay, make it as easy as possible to win, difficult as possible to lose. So I'm okay. Step number one, can't have any alcohol in the house. So went and had a conversation with my wife. She doesn't need to quit drinking. She doesn't have a problem with alcohol. I do, but luckily, because she knew the problem that I had, it was creating a lot of friction, obviously, inside of her marriage. She was like, okay, I'll support you with this. Like, okay, we'll just won't have alcohol in the house. Okay, but then I started making a list of all the other places, all the other situations where I would be tempted to cave into this substance. So I'm like, okay, I can't go out there and eat out, or at least eat out at any establishment that has alcohol. Okay, I can't go out there and attend any social function that has alcohol. Now, I didn't know how long this was going to be, but it ended up taking me about 6 or 7 months before, of just shutting all of that out. Right. So almost like living like a freaking monk, like it's like business, gym, home, business, gym, home. Cause we're in like everywhere in life kind of, so, alcohol is around. It's such a, it's culturally accepted thing, right. So it took me about 6 to 7 months before I got to the point where I broke the bad habit, gained the new habit, had the internal strength where I could be around that substance and not cave in. Now to, you fast forward years later, it's like, dude, I have many friends that drink. My wife will go out to date nights where she'll be drinking and whatever. Like it's not like people got to be careful around me. Yeah. Right. Like I can attend parties where everyone else is drinking, not drinking. I can still have a fun time. I don't need to be there. I don't have no desire for it. Eventually, like this shit gets easier and you develop that, you kind of rewire yourself and develop that strength. But that's an example of I set my environment to make it as easy to win and as difficult to lose. The other thing is I told all my love, like everybody that matters to me in my life, I was upfront and honest with them, with this battle that I was going through and asked for their support. So it's like, hey, I know that you're having this, birthday party coming up in a month. And it's maybe a big birthday, 40th birthday or family members, whatever. Hey, I just want you to know I'm not going to be there. And here's why. And it's not because I don't love you, not because I don't want to support you, but I just can't be around this substance. And the right people got it. The right people understood it. So same thing in your business. I mean, environment's going to be, your physical environment, as well as the people inside your environment. So how do you need to set up your environment to make it as easy as possible to win, difficult as possible to lose? Okay, step number 7, kind of talked about this earlier, but I want to talk a little bit more about it, is never rely on willpower. Self-discipline and willpower, 2 100% separate different things, right? So willpower is the internal, natural, kind of innate strength that we have. And I shouldn't say innate because over time, it's a muscle that can be built, muscle that can be flexed. But we're all human beings. We all have at different, times of the day, different, like if you're exhausted, if you're stressed, if you're, whatever, like that shit can change very, very quickly. So for me, I never want to rely on willpower. I just came to the realization, understanding that, hey, look, I'm a human being. I have weaknesses. I have times where maybe I have some willpower and I have some strength. I have times where I have weaknesses and I don't have that internal strength. So let me not rely on willpower. I can be self-disciplined without having willpower. So discipline, let me break down this word. Discipline is being a disciple to a plan. So a disciple is a committed, loyal follower to a plan. This is why if we start looking at this, it's so important to get clarity, because one of the reasons why so many people struggle with self-discipline is they're not extremely clear on what they want, why they want it, why it's important to them. So they don't have their reasons as to why to show up and do the work, even though there's 1,000 reasons as to why not, right? Then from there, they don't take the time to go out there and research the right proven plan to get them from where they're at to where they want to go. And when I say take the time, not just take the time to find the right plan, but the plan that you believe in, right? Because there's going to take an element of faith. Hey, I'm going to be executing on this thing for 3, 4, 5 months without seeing positive results yet. Like I got to have faith that I've done my due diligence, that I know with 100% certainty, if I execute on this plan and with precision and consistency, I'm going to eventually hit my goal. Yeah, right. So, okay, I got clarity on what I want, got the right proven plan. Then from there, now when I set up my systems in my environment, to go out there and win, make it as easy as possible to lose, difficult as possible or easy as possible to win, difficult as possible to lose. Now I can be self-disciplined because self-discipline is just through myself. I've created this structure of myself to go out there and be a committed, loyal follower to the execution of my plan. And I don't have to rely on internal strength. So one of the things I do when I get up early in the morning, when that alarm clock's next to my bed, I know I'm too weak of a human being to not hit that snooze button when that alarm clock goes off next to my bed. So then from there, I get the biggest, loudest alarm clock I possibly can, set up in my master bathroom. So when that thing goes off early in the morning, I have to jump out of bed, run across the room, shut that damn thing off, or else it's waking up the rest of the family. Wife gets pissed, all of that stuff. Well, now I'm awake. Now I'm up. It's increased the probability that I'm going to stay up. So rigging your environment, setting up these systems, right? Not because I'm telling you right now, if you're like, oh, dude, I'm going to be stronger. And then next thing you know, because you're not necessarily stronger, maybe the next day, you start self-sabotaging. You start having internal self-doubt. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I'm just not good enough for this. Yes, you are good enough for this. Yes, you are cut out for this. You've just been going about it the wrong way, right? So this becomes extremely, extremely important. And here's the thing is you never, ever, ever want to have to rely on accountability partners. You need to become self-accountable. If you ever want to create any element of success and long-lasting success and maintain that success, you can't rely on anybody else to be showing up. You have to rely on yourself to show up, and not through strength, but through all these things that we talked about. Having a conversation with my son, and he talks, he just started working out, and he's like, well, I'm like, dude, I didn't see you go work out today. Wow, my workout partner didn't want to go. And, he's just getting into workout. He's young, and I was like, look, dude, I've had a ton of workout partners through my life. The one commonality is every single one of them eventually stop showing up. Not because maybe they quit, maybe they moved, or maybe they, there's different reasons for different ones, but I'm like, okay, so if I made my health and fitness journey and my goals for my health and fitness reliant on a workout partner, when all those stop showing up, okay, well, then I wouldn't be able to get consistent results. So we've got to, like, if you want to have success with this, I'm not telling him he's got to do it, but I'm like, if you want to have success with this, let's set this up and I'll help you structure this where, hey, if a workout partner shows up, dude, it's just icing on the cake. Cool. It's more fun. Maybe if you have more fun with them, whatever. But dude, like if you want to get, he wants to get, both my boys want to get jacked. Right. And right. At least at the age that they're in right now. So I'm like, all right, guys, like if you want to get, gain muscle and get jacked, like here's how we set up your diet. Here's how we set up the, workout regimens. Here's how you set up where this is a self journey. Right. Because nobody can walk through, or nobody can go down the road with you. Right. Or nobody can, like you can have people that will, start walking with you, but you still got to take the steps and eventually, not rely on them because they will drop off. So again, hopefully this helps. So I'm promising you, if you take this stuff seriously, now I know, the vast majority of people probably watching and listening to this will just take little bits and pieces and little chunks of this, and that might help slightly, but for the small percentage of you that take this stuff seriously, this is the secret. This is the magic pill. If there was a secret, if there was a magic pill, it is this. And I promise you, yes, it's a lot of work, but it is worth it. You will become a self-disciplined, consistent freaking machine. There is no magic lead gen source. There is no magic script. I know you get all these quote unquote gurus out there trying to say that shit because they're trying to sell you some crap or whatever. There isn't. Just telling you right now, there isn't. Save yourself a lot of headache, a lot of heartache. There isn't. Now, there's a better way to do things. There's a better plan for your situation. There's better skill sets. There's better things, but there is no magical, lead source, or whatever out there. This is where the magic is, because it's he or she that executes consistently on the right plan for the longest period of time, that crushes and dominates it at the highest possible level in any aspect of life. All right, so I hope that you found this helpful. And again, if you're struggling on coming up with that right proven plan, hit me up, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. I will spend an hour of my time with you on Zoom, making sure that we got that right plan in place for you. www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. Just a real quick note though on that. I'm stopping doing these free coaching calls on September 7th. That's going to be my last day, last call. They will not be allowed to be done after that time. And the reason being, it's not because I don't want to help you guys. I do. I actually enjoy the shit out of doing them. I really love it. It's just extremely time consuming. I've been investing, anywhere between 4 and 6 hours of my day for the last couple of months doing these right now. And as my business is growing, my real estate business is just, always growing. But right now it's taken off at a whole new level because we've been doing the right actions here. When everybody else is going down, we're like, okay, how do we position ourselves to just take advantage of this lost market share? So my schedule is it's just becoming too much of a time constraint challenge for me to continue these for free. So if you want to take advantage of this, while I'm still doing them, jump on right now, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. All right, guys, keep crushing, keep kicking ass. Much love to you. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.